Matthew, do you find that there are misperceptions out there about you growing up in Greenwich Village? Your father was an actor.
Yeah.
Your mom was a playwright and painter?
Yeah.
As well?
Oh, Jesus, I'm sorry.
Have you found that because you do comedy and you do very light roles from time to time, that people expect you to be your roles? That there's a public assumption that on the street, whatever your reaction from the public is.
Yeah. I'm not being a Weisenheimer, but is it a question or?
Yeah, it's a question.
What is the question?
The question is, how does the public perception of you, reactions that you get on the street, perhaps differ from who you are?
Yeah, it's pretty my friend Kenny Lonergan, two-time Academy Award winner, great friend of mine, said, oh, if people really knew you, my God. I don't know, the problem with articles is they always try to, because it's an article, sort of sum it up into somewhat a simpler version of you than what you are. So it seems to change about me. I don't know what I'm perceived as, but I'm not all one thing. I'm probably like I'm like a combination of 4 things. And I would like to go over them now.
Please do.
We have some slides.
Yeah.
Metal.
Fire.
Wow.
Salt and air.
Look, there's no, you have no control. You do these things, you do
and
these.
When I need to be, I can make myself completely invisible.
Is that something you learned on Inspector Gadget?
Yeah. No, I knew it before that, but I can, if I really concentrate, nobody can see me at all.
We did an article, like this Time magazine piece, where this guy comes in. Let me tell you, this is what, I'll give you an inside view of what happens. So this man comes in, and talk about depressed. He comes in to our dressing room, and we're sitting there, and he says, hi, how are you, And he said, it's very half-hearted. This is for Time magazine. He looks very half-hearted about the interview, and we're sitting there waiting for questions, and he says, I'm really the book guy. I really interview, like I just did Joan Didion. I said, he said, I really don't do show business. And he said, this Joe Mantello, what else has he done? And I thought, we're in big trouble. We're in big fucking trouble.
What are previews? What are previews?
What are previews like? It was that. It was that. And then you read, you think, okay, let's buck up and try to do the interview. And then it comes out, and we're portrayed as we were 2 B-list performers who, before the producers had done nothing. And, and now we're riding high on this, comedy team thing, and it's, what can you do? It's just, there it is, and he sort of pieced together from 18 other interviews, like what he thought of. I came off as Zelda Fitzgerald. And, you know what I mean? It was just, and then you just go, okay, this week will be over, and that magazine will just be in a dentist's office somewhere, and I can forget about it. But it doesn't have anything to do with real life or what we really are. It's just some guy's perception. In the middle of the interview, he said, so The Odd Couple's about divorce. I said, yes. He said, I just got divorced. I thought, she made a good decision. These are some of the down times.
You mentioned expectations earlier, and the expectations for
this. Expectations.
Expectations for this are immense. $23 million advance.
I think that's
well, you've opened. when you have something like this, when it's such a hot ticket.
This Kettle One is really good. Yeah, what?
Joe, can you filter out the background noise and just get to the work? Does it interfere with the work?
Well, I mean, you tried to not let it, but of course, I'd be lying to you if I said that we were unaware of, that there were going to be some people waiting that were sharpening their knives, and some people that wished us well, and I don't know. Ultimately, what can you do? We don't have any control about that. We go into a room, we do our best. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's there. It's outside the door.
Well, there's no way to. This whole notion that we sold all these tickets was a blessing and a curse, because it was mentioned an awful lot, and the fact that suddenly many of these reviews started with, our role is irrelevant, but here's what I have to say. And so, you go, believe me, I'm as surprised as you are that, I was, it was thrilling, but I got a sort of nauseous feeling when they said, we've sold $7 million worth of tickets in one day. It was like, already the pressure was on, yes, all you can do is try to give the audience the best experience of the play you can. What I don't like about what has happened is that the notion that we're like two bimbos who just said, yeah, let's get on the gravy train again, and this is some sort of get-rich-quick scheme. When the fact is, I've loved this play since I was a child and have wanted to do it, and so. It was the main purpose in doing this was to try to do a first-class revival of what I think is a classic American comedy. And, anything else is just someone's notion of who we are or what, there was never, I thought people might want to come see it, but we never expected what happened. But it has been held over our head sometimes, but as a cudgel, we've been hit with it. And I just think, that's just not why we wanted to do it, so I feel like we were punished a little because of that. But
do you read reviews?
Of course. Yes. Look. A lot of these guys, I've outlived them. It's weird. That they sort of think of themselves as a part of this process, and you think. I can remember meeting John Simon at a party. John Simon was coming towards me, and I thought, that's John Simon, And he came up to me and said, what can we look forward to seeing you in next? And I'm thinking, this guy is, he's written horrendous things about me. And there he was, like we were old friends from, Goebbels High, And he's saying, what are you going to do next? I can't wait. And you think, wow, how about that? How about that? I remember when some of them thought I was the cat's pajamas, and you become successful, and they change their minds. It goes in cycles. And they're as human as we are. There are good critics and bad critics and mediocre critics, and everybody has an opinion. What I don't like sort of slightly being subtly accused of is that we just did this to make money. It was about, not when,
Plus, we have oodles of money. We don't need it.
What I mean, look, I am a man of the theater. I have spent 30 years as a professional actor, and it's like, what are you talking about? The last, it just is like, I know you roll your dice, you take your chances, but I guess I feel sad that, that if that is the thought, that it was just about, we can make a lot of money if we did this, when I really just wanted to do this play because I love it.